This episode of Republic of Avalon Radio is proudly being brought to you by you, listener-supported, commercial-free, Republic of Avalon Radio. Visit us at republicofavalonradio.com.
Sono lieto di poter rievocare in poche parole le esperienze delle prime trasmissioni radiotelegrafiche a grandi distanze da me felicemente eseguite attraverso l'Oceano Atlantico il 12 dicembre 1901.
Holy snapping bra straps.
It's a podcast.
Republic of Avalon Radio. It's 0 hours, Avalon Standard Time.
It's been 6 years since our payload has been at Kennedy here. It's been four years, I think, since Atlantis has been in preparation. And for us as a crew, it's 4.5 years as well. And finally, on Sunday, we're going to get to walk out to the pad for the launch. And for me, walking out to the pad on Sunday will be much like walking into an Olympic stadium for your athletic event. Many countries will be participating in a spirit of international cooperation, and our family and our friends who believe in what we do will be in the front seat of the stadium. So I invite you all to watch what we do over the next week. It's complex what we do. It's not easy. But with a team like this that I've been working with for the last 4 years, and especially with the focus and dedication of the teams on the ground, I promise you we'll bring home a gold medal.
Republic of Avalon Radio.
You're with the roar!
Republic of Avalon Radio, you're with the Roar. I'm Jim Fiddler. Welcome aboard. This is episode 48 of Republic of Avalon Radio. Episode 50 is only 2 shows away. Imagination that. And of course, as I mentioned on the last episode, we'd love to hear some shout-outs from you guys for the 50th episode. So get them on in. republicofavalonradio@gmail.com is the email address you need to do such things. You can send us an MP3 or... We like WAV files around here, so that would be nice too. So anything at all you'd like to send along, a shout-out to your fellow Roar listeners... Your wish for peace on earth and goodwill to all two-legged creatures. And the 4 ones thrown in for good measure, if you'd like. Republic of Avalon Radio @gmail.com. And of course we have the Roar line, which is country code 1, area code 724-426-8176, and the infamous boat line, which is country code 1, area code 206-203-BOAT. Alrighty, this week we have a very special episode, a first for the Roar. We actually had a correspondent send us some material. Woohoo! Great stuff. First time it's ever happened. We've actually got some material here sent in by one of our faithful listeners, Yves Seguin from Ottawa, and his wife Suzanne et le chien went to Florida for the shuttle launch not that long ago, still but weeks in the past, in late September. And he was armed with his new handy-dandy, bright and shiny Edirol R09. And recorded a bunch of material for us there, the shuttle launch and some of the leading up to the launch, and sent that on to us here at Roar Central so we could share it with you. And it's our great pleasure, actually, to kind of take this thing from somebody who otherwise, I guess it would sort of just go into their hope chest or their audio scrapbook. But this way we get to bring it out to you guys. And of course, I got to have a little bit of fun with it and, push some buttons and things like that. So, it's a very good episode, episode 48, simply called Up, Up and Away, because of the shuttle launch and because the fact that 2006 is drawing to a close, and also due to the fact that I'm miking up my drum kit tomorrow, getting ready to start recording my new album. So we're actually going to go through that process of placing all the mics around the drum kit, and positioning the overheads and getting all the little bits and bobs like compression and gating and all these kinds of things all sorted out. So that's very exciting. So it's up, up and away for the shuttle. It's up, up and away for the Roar. And it's up, up and away for me. So, as I said, get those greetings into us. We'd love to hear from you here at Republic of Avalon Radio, where we've been trudging along for well over a year and a half now. And, of course, winter will just blow by. And we'll be hitting the 2-year point officially in May. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, folks. Let's just carry on here with episode 48. So, everyone gearing up for Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and all these kinds of things. Let's send out our best wishes to everybody, no matter what you're celebrating. Or if you're going to have your own little special sort of atheist ceremony, the I don't believe in anything or anybody kind of go and into your room and lock your door and all that kind of stuff. Enjoy that too. But before we carry on with the show, let me just tell you that as this is Christmas and so on, Hanukkah and whatever, for everybody else, we are, by way of some new equipment that's come into the root cellar, we now have the ability to do something we couldn't do before. And we are going to roll this out by way of a little sort of contest, I guess. Of course, the music is available at jimfiddler.com. You can get there through the Republic of Avalon radio site, which is republicofavalonradio.com. And between now and Christmas, anybody who goes over there and buys the gift of music, buys any of my CDs over there, of course, make sure you mention as well. We can gift wrap that and send that to wherever you want. So, time-wise and everything, you don't have to worry about us sending it to you and then you having to send it to somebody else. So, if there's somebody you have in mind that you'd like to buy a gypsy or a friendly fire, a midnight rover, a mosaic, whatever, just let us know when you purchase the CD or CDs. Just write a little note in there with the address to where you would like it to go, and we'll send that on for you, no problem. And the other little extra thing we're going to do is put your name in for a draw. So anybody makes any purchase whatsoever at jimfiddler.com or through republicofAvalonradio.com, any purchase whatsoever, we will put your name in for a draw. And the prize, when we draw this name, which we will, I'd say probably in episode 50, the prize will be a DVD loaded with all 50 episodes of The Roar, the first 50 episodes, plus a bunch of photos that, of course, we have the Flickr site at republicofAvalonradio.com. But there's a lot of photos don't get up there. We only put up the tip of the iceberg kind of thing. So we'll have the first 50 episodes, a whole whack of photos. Also, the couple of video presentations that we've done, the slideshow from Barbados and the podcasting interview I did a while back. All wrapped up onto one neat, tidy DVD. So get over there and buy those CDs. Give the gift of music this year. And we'll certainly appreciate that. That's what pretty much keeps us running around here, or keeps me running anyway. That's my thing. Aside from doing free podcasts, I actually write and record music, and the more people buy that, then the better it is for us, so we can eat and things like that. Okay, well, on with the show. Let's carry on. After the little ID thing here, we will be getting into Yves Seguin and his trip to Florida for the shuttle launch. Après le truc, le micro à mon ami Yves Seguin. Vous écoutez Republic of Avalon Radio.
Republic of Avalon Radio.
Either you're with us or you're with the terrorists.
You're with the Roar!
Well, hello there, Lillian, Jim, and listeners of the Roar, Republic of Avalon Radio. This is Yves Seguin speaking, and I would like today to let you share in my experience, wonderful experience actually, of the space shuttle launch that took place in September. We were privileged enough to go and see the launch. I was accompanied by my wife, Suzanne, who is also visually impaired. She has a bit of vision. And also my guide dog, Moran, was with us. And because of the fact that Steve McLean was part of that mission, a Canadian astronaut, there was a fairly big, fairly large Canadian contingent on hand, and we were lucky enough to be able to join that contingent, which meant that we were able to benefit from, I guess I should say, a VIP treatment. We were able to see various facilities. We were able to get a private bus tour of the Kennedy Space Center with NASA and Canadian Space Agency personnel that were on hand to give us some valuable information. So all in all, it was a trip, obviously, that we will never forget. We had quite a bit of ups and downs, disappointments, excitements, you name it. We lived through all of this because, as I'm sure you will remember, the space shuttle was actually scheduled to lift off on August 27th, which was a Sunday. And actually, it only lifted off on Saturday, September 9th, which was basically 2 weeks later, pretty much. And we got to Cocoa Beach, which is about, 20 miles from the Kennedy Space Center, on the Thursday prior to that, on August 24th. We got to Cocoa Beach quite late in the evening. We took in the bus tour on the Saturday, August 26th. We came back actually to Ottawa on the following Tuesday. That would have been August 29th, if I count correctly. And only to come back the following week, the following Tuesday, Tuesday after Labor Day, once we knew that they would attempt another liftoff during the window that had been established for September 6th, 7th, and 8th, Wednesday through Friday. But again, because of technical glitches, they decided to extend the window beyond September 8th to Saturday, September 9th, and that was the day that we were supposed to come back to Ottawa. So again, we made a change to our airline reservations because we couldn't see ourselves being on a plane on our way back to Ottawa at the same time that the space shuttle would potentially lift off. Given the fact that, we had put so much effort into it, we decided to change our reservations and stay for the duration, for the extension of the window. And I'm glad we did, because we finally saw it, and it was quite an experience. So I would like for the next few minutes to let you share into that experience. It's not as being there, but at least it will give you a sense of what went on. I will let you listen to some excerpts of the bus tour and the various explanations that we got while on tour. Unfortunately, that portion of it is not that great as far as the recording goes. I should point out that I was using the Edirol R9 that I only got a few days prior to the trip, so I was not necessarily as familiar with it as I would have liked to have been. But anyway, I made the best of it, and I didn't have external microphones either, so I was relying on the internal microphone. But at any rate, hopefully you will get a kick out of it, you will get some enjoyment out of it. I certainly will remember this as the trip of a lifetime, and I hope that you will be able to get a little something out of it. And the second part will consist of the actual launch day itself. I will be mixing in NASA TV commentaries, right from the time that the astronauts boarded the space shuttle all the way through liftoff. So, thanks for listening, have fun, and enjoy.
Republic of Avalon Radio.
Radio for the chipmunk in you.
You're with the roar!
If you guys are going to the Banana Creek viewing site, I'll give you a little clue of what you'll see during launch if you want. The countdown clock will be coming down, and then they'll have these holds where the clock will stop, but things are still going. It's just that the critical sequence kind of stops, and it gives us some time to work on other things if they come up without affecting the overall launch time. So if the clock is stopped, don't get alarmed. That's some part of that is normal, and then the clock will pick up and start a few different times. At T-minus 10 seconds, the water will start flowing out on the launch pad. Actually, that's T-minus 12 seconds. At T-minus 10, you'll get the H2 burn. Pyrotechnics will light up, and you'll see that big shower of sparks. You may not see it from Banana Creek, but that gets rid of any gaseous hydrogen that builds up. At T-minus 6 seconds, the space shuttle main engines will start, and they will kick thrust out to the right from your perspective. And those engines are pulling their fuel out of the external tank, which is hydrogen and oxygen. And when you combine those two, you get water, right? So that's why that first cloud you see will be very white, clean water cloud kicking out to the right. And then we have 6 seconds to see if the engines are running right. And if not, the computer can shut them down. But if everything looks good, at T0 the solid rocket boosters will light up. And their thrust gets vectored out to your left from Banana Creek, the viewing site, which is north. So you'll see that huge plume kick out to the north, and then the shuttle will start heading up. But that's kind of the basic timeline of it.
I just want to remind you that when we get back to the hotel at 5 o'clock this evening, late afternoon, there's going to be a cocktail. You'll have the opportunity to meet 2 American astronauts. I don't have their names. You'll have a chance to meet the Canadian ambassador, Mr. Michael Wilson, as well as someone who climbed Mount Everest and gave a piece of the top of the rock of Mount Everest to Steve, who's going to fly that up on the shuttle with him. There's a couple of other dignitaries there, so you're all welcome to come. It's at the DoubleTree at 5 o'clock.
We actually were able to get off the bus a couple of times. One time in particular, we were really close to the fence that gives access to the ramp for the space shuttle, and we were able to take pictures. Well, not me personally, but my wife with her limited vision was able to at least take some good pictures. Then we came back to the hotel, and the Saturday night there was actually a Canadian reception. We got to hear Steve McLean, who wasn't there, of course, because he was scheduled to take off the next day, but he had recorded a little video presentation.
Distinguished guests, dear friends and colleagues, as you can see, this is an exciting time for me as I am in the final preparation for my spaceflight. Soon I will be suited up in my orange suit, strapped in my seat aboard. Listen, waiting for the final countdown. My first flight was in 1992, and although it has been 14 years since I flew in space, my memories are still vivid. It's like it happened yesterday. Nothing compares to the exhilaration of being part of a crew and working side by side and being supported by very talented people on a project of such magnitude. With this mission, we resume the assembly of the International Space Station, the largest structure ever built by humankind in space. It's inspiring for me to see 15 countries working collaboratively towards a common goal, and I am proud to take part in this endeavor and to represent Canada. This will be my first visit to the International Space Station, and while on board, I will feel quite privileged to operate Canadarm2 on orbit. And on the 5th day of this mission, it will be a personal highlight for me to venture into space, to conduct a spacewalk, to help install a set of solar arrays. As we pass over Canada, I look forward to photographing geological formations and to capture the northern lights in the far north. Most important, I would like to express my gratitude to my colleagues at the CSA who are playing a major role in ensuring the success of this mission. You are the Canadian Space Program, and I thank you all dearly for the constant support you have given me and for the privilege to work with you during preparations for this mission. À ma famille et à mes amis, je vous redis tout mon amour et l'appréciation que j'ai de votre appui, de votre générosité et de vos encouragements. Je vous invite tous, ainsi que tous les Canadiens, à prendre part à cette mission et à cette formidable entreprise. And before I sign off, I would like to propose a toast to your support and the success of this launch tomorrow. Cheers.
Pleasure of meeting and speaking for a few minutes with Marc Garneau, the first Canadian astronaut to go into space. And Marc Garneau, of course, was president of CSA for several years. We met and spoke with Chris Hadfield. Actually, Chris Hadfield was sitting next to me during the reception, and we got to chat for about, a good 10-15 minutes, I guess, off and on. So that was extremely interesting. We also met and spoke with Julie Payette, another Canadian astronaut, obviously the first Canadian woman to go in space. And Julie Payette is still involved, obviously, in the space program, and so is Chris Hadfield. Mark Garneau is retired, but it was quite interesting to meet them and to have the opportunity to talk to them. Liftoff was scheduled for the following day, the Sunday, August 27th, and as you may remember, unfortunately, the ramp was hit by lightning on, I think it was Friday the 25th. And so what that meant, of course, was that engineers and technicians had to obviously check and recheck all of the electrical systems, not only on the shuttle itself, but at the launch pad as well, to make sure that everything was under control and everything was all right. So it meant at least a 48-hour turnaround time to be able to do that. The next opportunity was on Monday, I guess it was. No, actually on Tuesday. But unfortunately, late Monday afternoon, because of the impending arrival of Ernesto, the predicted hurricane, Ernesto was moving in Wednesday or late Tuesday, I guess. So they decided that they wouldn't be able to launch on Tuesday, that more than likely they would actually roll back the shuttle to the hangar instead of leaving it on the launch pad. So when that announcement was made, the astronauts were released from the quarantine, at least partially. They were able to go and meet with their families for a couple of hours. Unbeknownst to us, on Monday night we were walking in the hotel lobby, and the director of the Canadian Astronauts Office saw us, and she said, hey, Yves and Suzanne, come over here, I have a surprise for you. So she brought us to the hotel dining room, and here we were, face to face with Steve McLean and his family, which was, quite an event. We probably were one of the few Canadians, apart from his family and Canadian Space Agency personnel, to have a chance to see him, talk to him for, again, a few minutes. Again, it was quite a thrill to be able to speak to him and, to exchange a few words, and some pictures were taken of us with him. So the next morning, because of the storm coming our way, we were supposed originally to fly back on the Wednesday, but we decided to try to change our flight reservation for the Tuesday, and it's a good thing that we did, because no flights were actually going out on the Wednesday. So we left for Ottawa, obviously disappointed of the fact that we wouldn't be able to see the launch. And then when we got to Ottawa, we heard on the news that they actually made a U-turn, and instead of bringing the shuttle all the way back to the hangar, at midpoint they decided to turn back and go back to the launch pad with the shuttle, because the storm had weakened, and they were taking a chance, I guess, of bringing it back to the pad, because they felt that obviously doing that would save them some time, and they would be able to launch faster than if they had to go back to the hangar. The next window for a possible liftoff had been established from September 6th which was the Wednesday of the following week, through September 8th, the Friday. So when we heard about that Friday night, we decided to go back to Florida and try to see it, because we were on holidays for 2 weeks anyway. So this was our second week, so we decided to go back. Obviously it meant finding reasonable airfare to fly back down to Florida. At some point, I think I had 2 or 3 reservations going in parallel, trying to find the best value. So on September 5th, the Tuesday after Labor Day, here we were on a plane again, making our way to Florida, getting back to the same hotel we were just the week before. It was déjà vu, as we say in French, and even Moran, my guide dog, said, "Oh yeah, I've been here before," and she took me to the room where we were the week before. It was kind of funny, I guess, to be back at the same place, the same city, the same hotel, only a week after we left. It's probably the first time in my life that I've been to the same place twice on holidays, within the span of a week or so. At any rate, as I'm sure you remember, even the second week, there's been a couple of incidents and delays that meant that the space shuttle didn't take off on the 6th. At that point, it was I think a fuel cell that was defective. So what that meant was, again, a 48-hour turnaround time to investigate and to make sure that everything was all right. So Friday morning, we get up, we listen to NASA TV, and everything is underway. The preparations are underway. So at about 8:30 or so, or 9, I guess, we boarded our bus to again go to the Kennedy Space Center. About half an hour prior to the scheduled liftoff, we got outside and took our places, and were just getting ready to witness the launch, and all of a sudden I hear on the PA system, no-go, sensor malfunction, or whatever they said exactly. So needless to say, we were again quite disappointed.
Still proceeding on time for launch at 11:15 this morning. No issues in work. T-minus 3 hours and holding. 1 hour, 8 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in this planned built-in hold. This is Shuttle Launch Control.
And this is Yves Seguin reporting for The Roar, Republic of Avalon Radio. This morning, directly from Cocoa Beach, Florida, it is 6:15 Eastern Daylight Time, Saturday, September 9th, 2006. Today is the final day. It's actually an extra day that has been added to the anticipated window for Atlantis. They are really poised to go ahead with this launch. Numerous delays and postponement have occurred, but let's hope that today is the day. My wallet would certainly appreciate it, because we've been in Florida off and on for the last 2 weeks.
Our pilot Chris Ferguson now making his way into his seat, and Heidi Piper is preparing to go on board Atlantis as well. Heidi Piper will be sitting in the mid-deck center seat next to Joe Tanner. Steve McLean from Canadian Space Agency now preparing to board. He'll be sitting on the flight deck in the aft right seat, right behind the pilot.
TC to it, see? Go ahead. 27.200, sequence 16-564 through 567 are complete.
Okay, copy all. CMQC, you copy that?
I copy.
Continue to board our crew. Dan Burbank coming up next after Steve McLean to enter Atlantis. Right now, Final Inspection Team Chief Tom Ford is delivering his report to the mission management team in Firing Room 4, and it's, as expected, fairly routine up to this point. At T-minus 2 hours, 4 minutes, 54 seconds and counting, this is Shuttle Launch Control.
CMQC.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Line number 1 has been deferred.
Okay.
Line item 2 has been closed.
Okay, very good.
TC, PLT, com check.
And PLT, OTC, have you loud and clear? Good morning, Chris.
I have you loud and clear as well. Good morning, Jeff.
OTC, MS1, com check.
And MS1, OTC, got you loud and clear. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Jeff. I have you loud and clear as well.
OTC, OVCC. Go ahead. MS2 on board at this time, and that is all crew members on board. 1235:10. Thank you.
Dan Burbank now making his way to the flight deck to center the aft center seat as our flight engineer. He'll be up there for both
Good morning, Jeff. I have you
launch and landing.
Houston, MS1, com check.
MS1, Houston, I read you loud and clear. Good morning, Steve.
Got you loud and clear as well, Tony. Good morning.
It is now 10 to 9 on Saturday morning, and we are in the hotel lobby waiting to board the buses that will take us to KSC, the Kennedy Space Center. We should be leaving in about 5 minutes or so. And the ride to get to the Kennedy Space Center is about 35 minutes, and then we'll be on the site. We'll be at the Banana Creek launch site, which is 3 miles or about 4.5 kilometers away from the actual ramp, which is the closest spot for the VIPs, actually. So we're looking forward to it, and we'll report later.
There's a lot of Canadian content on this flight. The most important Canadian content is astronaut Steve McLean.
Go, Steve, go! Go, Steve, go!
Steve is the 3rd Canadian astronaut to go into space. The other Canadian elements on there, we've got there's an OBSS, which is this 15-meter long boom, which is, you know, in the shuttle, when you're looking from the cockpit to the tail, on your right hand side you've got the shuttle arm. On the left hand side there's a spare software, theoretically another arm. Well, they've put a boom in there, the OBSS, Orbiter Berthing Sensor System, and that was built by MD Robotics, and it was basically using some of the spare parts from the Canadarm, the shuttle arm, and they made a boom with it. At the end of that boom they've put a sensor that Neptec Corporation builds, which is basically laser based, and so you have this perch with a laser camera, and they can use it to go scan the underbelly of the shuttle to see if there's any cracks or problems. So on liftoff there's going to be dozens of cameras, and Steve is going to take some pictures when the external tank falls away, and what they're looking for is for tile damage caused by foam. And during those camera shots, if they see something, well, then they'll decide to do a focus inspection, take that perch, and just take a really detailed laser scan to see if there's any problem. If there is a problem, we can try to go fix it or try to do something about it. Other Canadian technology on board, we've got the Space Vision System. The Space Vision System sometimes is called the eyes of the arm. It's basically a computer-based system that uses camera imagery of 2 pieces of structure, and it tells you, oh, you're 3 feet away, 2 feet away, 1 foot away, oh, you need to correct your roll.
That's what I need.
So that Steve, who's behind the joysticks of the Canadian arm, has a computer signal numbers and these lines. By lining up the lines and making the numbers go to 0, he will have a computer-aided guide to mate. Now remember, what he's trying to do, he's trying to mate this huge truss segment. It's called P3, P4. It looks like a treillis, a truss segment, full of computers and solar arrays. It's very heavy, very big. And he's got to line it up into this really tiny, tiny corridor. Something about 1 inch and 2 degrees, about that. So he doesn't have a direct line of sight. He's inside the space station. He's got 3 little LCD screens to pilot it. It's not like God's eye view where you can like just put it exactly where you want it. So he's got to sort of figure it out from 3 camera views. Heavy payload. The arm is 15 meters long, 16-ton payload at the end of it, or something like that. And there is flexibility. So you try to move it in X, it might move a little bit in Y. It's really hard to fly, really hard to pilot. So with SVS, you get a better resolution of what your misalignment error is, and it also helps you decouple orientation error from translation. Sometimes when you're looking at an object, you don't know if you have to correct for position or if it's turned. So that's going to help him with that. Steve is bringing up with him in his personal supply kit. One of his friends went up to the top of Mount Everest and got a piece of rock from the top of Mount Everest. He's bringing that along with him. He's got a patch from the gymnastics team. He's got a patch from Nunavut. He's got something from Montmegantic. What is that something from Montmegantic? Maybe you can tell us what it is. Wow, a flag with the crest of Montmegantic Observatory. That's cool. And 500 little Canadian flags. So he'd probably give them out. And I think there was something to do with school children. I can't remember what it was. So. Oh yes, there's a York University patch. Does anybody know what that was? Apple seeds. Oh, that's a great idea. Okay. That's really cool. So a bunch of apple seeds, and I wonder if they'll grow crooked when they get back. I wonder what kind of So today we're going to see the launch, and after the launch, look out for flight day 3. Flight day 3 is the day where all the magic happens. You've got the shuttle astronaut, and I think his name is Joe Turner. Tanner. Who's going to use the shuttle arm to unberth P3, P4 and take it over to another location. And then Steve is going to be inside the space station at the commands of the SSRMS. He's going to grab the P3, P4 truss segment, move it over, and install it. And that's the day where I'm going to be watching really carefully. Then you've got several EVAs during the mission, and hopefully we won't need to do a focus inspection. But if we do, we can look out for robotic operations for the boat tour. So have fun at the launch.
It is now 10:25. We are at the T-9 minute and holding. The clock is actually stopped right now. We are actually in the Apollo Saturn V building, which is adjacent to the launch site that we're going to be at, which is the Banana Creek launch site. And we are waiting to go outside because it's actually quite hot, sunny and humid. So we will be going out shortly to take our seats to view the launch. Okay, we are now outside. It is getting close to 11:15. They were just talking a few minutes ago about a generator that they had some concerns with, but we just heard that this particular generator is not a constraint for launch if they still see a problem. So we
Can I have your attention, please, for another safety announcement? At ignition, the Space Shuttle's twin solid rocket boosters produce an exhaust cloud containing droplets of hydrochloric acid. This cloud drifts with the wind after launch, slowly dissipating as it travels. These droplets are not strong enough to cause anything other than a minor irritation and are easily rinsed off with water. Launch viewing sites are far enough away from the launch site that there is ample time for visitors to return to the bus. It is imperative that you listen for all announcements and strictly follow all instructions provided at your viewing site. Thank you and enjoy the launch.
We just saw a helicopter go by. I guess they're doing just a final check of the ramp and just making sure that everything is all right. The count is still holding at minus 9 minutes and holding. They haven't started the count yet, resuming the count, but they should do so momentarily. So I will keep recording for a little while, hoping that the wind and the noise and the screams of the children will not be interfering too much with what I'm trying to record. They're talking on the comm channels, but the countdown has not resumed yet. I will try to increase the volume to try to pick it up a little bit, but there's so many people speaking that it's going to be difficult to hear the actual announcements. Yeah, as I suspected, I don't even hear what they're saying because there's too many people talking around here. Oh, everybody's go?
Chief Engineer, verify no constraints to launch. D0 team is go. Thank you, Charlie. KC Safety and Mission Assurance.
KC SNMA is go.
Thank you, Lana. Payload Launch Manager.
Mike, the space station team's looking forward to getting back in the assembly business. We're go for launch.
Copy that, Bill. Thank you. Range weather.
Weather has no constraints for launch.
Copy, Kathy. Thank you. And Ops Manager.
Launch Director, Ops Manager, the mission management team is not working any issues. Mike, it's a good day to fly. You're clear to launch.
Copy. Thank you. Atlantis, Launch Director.
Go ahead, Launch Director.
Well, Brent, looks like your long wait is over. And so for you, Fergie, Joe T, Dan, Steve, and Zena, we wish you all the best luck in the world. Godspeed, and we'll see you back here in about 2 weeks.
Thanks, Mike. We appreciate those words and the effort to make this launch window. You know, by our count, it's been almost 4 years to return to flight missions. A tremendous amount of work by thousands of individuals to get the shuttle program back to where we are right now, and that's on the verge of restarting the station assembly sequence. We're confident that over the next few weeks and few years, for that matter, that NASA is going to prove to our nation, our partners, and our friends around the world that it was worth the wait and the sacrifice. We're ready to get to work.
Thank you, Brent. Great words, and good luck, guys. NTD, with that, you are clear to launch this vehicle.
Copy. Thank you.
Republic of Avalon Radio.
The best radio in the whole wide world. You're with the roar.
BLS go for orbiter access arm recheck.
Atlantis OTC, it's been a long road with a lot of detours, but your patience is about to be rewarded. It's time to fly. Thanks, OTC, we're ready.
Coming up, we'll have a steering check of the orbiter's flight control systems and of the 3 main engines.
Atlantis OTC, close and lock your visors and initiate O2 flow. That's it, Mark.
Suzanne is taking pictures of the clock. We're now at 1 minute and counting.
That's good. I thought they were going to hold at 1 minute, but they're not.
I think
wait
this
till
is
it
it.
starts. What? Setting down.
We have a bunch of Boy Scouts behind us that are chanting. 20 seconds.
Firing chain is armed. Sound suppression water system activated. That is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. 3 main engines up and burning. 2, 1, and liftoff of Space Shuttle Atlantis, opening a new chapter in the completion of the international for the collaboration of nations in space.
Here comes the sound.
Roger, roll, Atlantis.
Houston is now
Solid rocket boosters are burning 11,000 pounds of propellant every second. Coming up on 1 minute 45 seconds. Standing by for first stage separation of the solid rocket boosters. Atlantis is at an altitude of 129,000 feet, 24 miles in altitude, 25 miles downrange. All 3 engines are still performing as expected. SRB separation and staging confirmed. All 3 electrically producing fuel cells are operating as expected, as are the hydraulic systems, the auxiliary power units. Approaching 6 minutes into the flight, Atlantis is now rolling to a heads-up position, traveling 9,400 miles per hour, 352,000 feet in altitude, or 66 miles, downrange from the launch site, 390 miles. A little less than 2.5 minutes of powered flight remaining, all systems still operating as expected.
Atlantis, Houston, press to MECO, and we're seeing good cooling on Fast Fry Alpha.
Copy, press to MECO.
ET separation confirmed. Atlantis now off of the external tank. Commander Brent Jett will fire the pulse engines on Atlantis to position it for photography of the tank as it falls away. Beautiful view of Atlantis as it falls away from the tank. You can see the jets firing those reaction control system jets to position the orbiter.
Atlantis, Houston, nominal MECO, OHMS 1 is not required, and no action on the cabin DPDT.
to express.
Wonderful.
Oh, it was extraordinary.
How did you experience it? Like how?
Moran was just fine.
Yeah,
She never
the dog
reacted.
was just fine.
Oh, real? Okay.
And we were just ecstatic.
Yeah.
And how much were you able to see you at yourself? Like,
I was able to see.
Oh, okay.
A little bit.
Right,
and of course, and what was good was that there were not too much cloud, and I was able to see the fire.
Oh, okay.
So I was able to follow it this way.
Okay.
Not to say this, that I saw the details, no, but the sound.
And he like, what about you?
Oh, well, the sound is powerful and overwhelming, and you know,
It's an emotional.
It's an emotional thing. You know.
The emotion you feel.
I'm really, really glad we were able to live that. You know?
Woo-hoo! Yes.
Wow.
Woohoo!
Wow. It's amazing.
Wow.
Wow.
Who knows when landing is?
12 days after today. What do I win?
9 plus 12.
Have you seen the landing?
21st.
21st. And who knows when the next launch is?
December 14th.
December 14th. Landing on December 26th.
Yes. So you'll be working overtime at Christmas.
This is Mission Control Houston with a live view of the Space Shuttle robotic arm being operated by the Space Shuttle Atlantis crew.
Well, this will conclude this wonderful experience that we had occasion to live in late August and early September. I hope that you were able to get something out of it. As you will have noticed, at the time of launch, we were almost at a loss for words to express our feelings, because it is something that you almost have to live in order to fully appreciate it. But nevertheless, I hope you got something out of it. Thank you very much for listening. This is Yves Seguin reporting for the Roar, Republic of Avalon Radio.
Root Cellar production.